Hello, everybody. It is me, Sacred G. So, before I do get started with today's video, I want to say I'm fucking sick, and I just fucking hate being sick. Anywho, without further ado, let's get started. As you can tell by the title, this is a question I have asked myself, and I wonder if any of you have asked yourself this. At least for me specifically, we may have differing opinions on this. And that is, would I be afraid of dating an adult star? And I think you know what I mean. Okay. Somebody who works in that industry, um, or OnlyFans or whatever. And I'm going to be honest with you. From the research I have done, absolutely. Now, the same rules apply as I've made in, the toxic signs video. Jesus Christ, I'm congested. The same fucking rules apply. I honestly really could care less what your background is or what you do for a living unless you're doing horrible shit, you're secretly a hit woman or something like that. No, I'm joking. But, you know, common sense, shit. And, I've given this a lot of thought. And yeah, I would. And I know a lot of guys say that, but I've had some pretty interesting things happen in my life where I'm not going to get too into detail about it, but that has given me a mental armor, you know, when it comes to dealing with particular things like getting yelled at. Fuck, man, I surprisingly can keep my cool, even getting yelled at. Very surprising. But anywho, to answer my own question, absolutely, man. And I don't give a fuck what anyone would say, dude. I mean, it's stupid that people have this really retarded view on the performers, the workers who decide to, go into that field. Because regardless, they chose to do that, so what do they expect? Blah, 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 blah. Well, shut the fuck up, dude, because guess what, man? Guess what? You probably have linked it to that person. And that's the key thing. They're people. They're not hurting anyone. Some of them, at least. Most of them. Not every single fucking adult star is fucking evil and raping or graping everyone. Damn, I'm gonna get demonetized, but I don't give a fuck. um, that's the thing. They're fucking people too, and the shit that I learned they go through is fucking awful. Oh well, you're a simp. You're a simp. Oh, that means shut the fuck up. No, it's a job at the end of the day, and actually, there is an emotional part of being in a relationship. And if you are just going to boil down to a relationship to physical attributes, oh, if they cheat, physically, like that's only if you're monogamous. And that's your preference, honestly. But there's an emotional layer to that. So if somebody, let's say I was dating some, adult star, let's say, we'll come up with a fucking fake one. Miss Hands in Your Pants. Or something like Miss Jamie. Let's call her that instead. If she and I were dating, let's say, we got to know each other and things worked out fine, and then she was coming home late, not because of her job, but because she was going to somebody else and explaining her day and cuddling or whatever with somebody else, that is 100% cheating. When it comes to that sort of stuff, yeah, that's fucked. And honestly, I could care less for you at the end of the day. You know, if you're a shitty person. The other thing, too, is that a lot of people, it seems, tend to point the finger at the performers, whether they be male or female, and say, oh, well, you know, you're terrible, blah, 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 because you did this, it's taboo. Well, you're probably fucking dating somebody who's had sex off camera with 5 other guys before you, so... And the funny thing is, industry performers actually get tested more than any of the guys that your wife probably did get tested, or, you know, fucked. Let's be real. I know that sounds a little harsh, but, you know, that's kind of the retarded thing that these fucking people, or these dumb people, man, say about the industry or industry workers. Not the industry itself, but yeah, let's go ahead and blame the people that are not in charge of how shit's run there. And I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm not gonna lie, I definitely can, and I really don't give a fuck what my parents say, especially with the recent events that happened. I really could care less about what the fuck they think, because, you know, it's subjective and all that. And everyone deserves love as long as you're not fucking hurting anyone. And, well, if they're not being weird with their audience, not encouraging the creepy people just to make money off them, and they have their own fucking boundaries, then that is probably way more hotter, in my opinion, than any of the scenes that they've done. I'm just being honest, you know. It's just fucking stupid, bro. And I'm really sick, so I'm gonna have to sign off here. But, yeah, it's really stupid. I think they get, you know, treated like shit from people who clearly don't understand how to talk to a woman. Because I'm gonna be honest, man. If you're gonna sit there and just... If you're gonna get mad, you're gonna act possessive over some woman you've never met, and you've only met through a fucking screen, let me tell you this, bro. You ain't getting pussy outside of that screen, I'll tell you that. You know? Like, that actually makes me mad, believe it or not. That actually doesn't infuriate me, but it's like, this side of the world, you know, the adult industry actually exposes a horrible part of men, or at least not men. Well, I'm trying to chalk it up to individuals, because they are just individual men who just happen to be fucking misogynistic and shitty. I mean, it just captures, you know, the hornball side, the fucking, you know, controlling, and the horrible side of certain people. Honestly, yeah, and with all that in mind, I'm like, well, they deserve love too, as long as I said they're not a toxic bitch, they're not, you know, fucking lazy, they are gonna end up bitching about it later, because we've seen that happen with whatever the fuck Mia, whatever the bitch's name is. And it's just like, whoa. You know? I mean, they're people too. And yeah, they chose that line of work. Yeah, sure. But you know what? It doesn't mean they deserve to get shot on. Just like how a cop, you know, chooses to be a cop, and, oh, well, they should know the job's dangerous. Do you see? How the fuck does that make sense? Like, that could be applied to anything. Oh, well, they chose that position, that profession. They chose to do it. Yeah, it doesn't mean they deserve to get killed or treated like shit by the community. Because, again, not all cops are bad. Not all adult stars are fucking fake and crap like that. Um, honestly, that's just my whole fucking thought on that. And I wouldn't mind being somebody's, and it's two ways when it comes to this. But, like, if they're having a bad day or whatever, I wouldn't mind being their emotional support, helping them out around the house, whatever the scenario is. I'm just thinking of random ass scenarios, whatever. Because humans need love too, dude. And welcome to fucking reality. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says. So come at me if you will. I don't give a shit. So I'll see you in the next fucking video. Peace the fuck out. Have a good one. And treat your fellow human like a fucking person. Please. Alright, catch you in the next one. Peace the fuck out. Goodbye.